Which is better, probation or parole? And no, I don't recommend anybody getting on either to figure it out. This is why I'm here to tell you. So, let me break it down. Parole is better. Now, everybody who done unfortunately been through the system should already know this, and I'm sure they do already know this. And here's why parole is better than probation. Not that any of them is better, but you get it. So, here it go. The thing about parole is, for one, and this is the state of California only, parole is 4 years. And other than where probation, felony probation, can be 5 years, and in other cases it can be stretched out to longer than that, and I'll get to that. But the thing with parole is, another thing, you still have running time. Unless you abscond, and then the time will stop. But it's still 4 years. So basically what you essentially done was sign a contract with the state, the Board of Prison Terms, for them to pretty much own you for 4 years after your release. Now, let's say if you get a violation and go back, that still counts as your parole time. A good example is in my case, in my first few go rounds, on my last violation, once I got out, I only had 2 months left on parole before I discharged, actually. Which in the case of probation, it wouldn't have went like that. What probably would have happened was, once I would have got released, I would have had a whole fresh new 5 years. And another thing, bad thing about probation, not only you can have that 5 years, you can actually get put on multiple probations, which they kind of layer it. So you can be on misdemeanor probation, and I was before, and on felony probation, and I was before as well. And like I said, you could be on multiple felony probations. And if you ask me, the goal is basically it's all about money, man. Keeping you within the system, and more importantly, they can pretty much bypass your constitutional rights and search you, basically illegal search and seizure. And it's another thing I want to talk about is the four-way search clause. See, put it like that. That four-way search clause, and I know this from personal experience, if I'm with somebody and they on probation and they got a four-way, they can't search you. And there been plenty of cats that got caught up behind that. You with somebody, they on felony probation with the so-called four-way search clause, and people think that mean they can search anybody that's around them. No, they can't. And I know this from personal experience. Perhaps I'll break that whole situation down in another video, but I ain't just talking, I know that. So, but that's another drawback from probation. And then another thing on parole, as with prison and county jail, it's a little higher level. So I don't want to necessarily say you treat it with more respect, but it's more of a serious matter. So it's kind of, things is what they say. They say what they mean in most cases. Now I'm pretty sure every PO ain't like that, but just the whole overall system of how they get down in comparison to probation. And another thing on parole, when I was on parole, I was allowed to smoke weed, and this was before it was legal, because they only really test for narcotics. So I'm not a narcotic user, so I didn't have to worry about that. Parole pretty much only really worry about is guns and drugs, as far as like the PO and the PAC team. And I got a story on that when I'm with my cousin. We right there crossing Hagenberger and I see a black and white with 4 police, it's the PAC team PO, and they coming from like the 7-1 area. And we hit the light, making a left, going up across by the Coliseum. They basically see us get on us. We had hella sacks and weed back then, you know, we was bagging it up. They found the sacks of weed, let us keep it, and they didn't take me into nothing. But that's just one of the experiences on parole, so it's a little bit, I don't want to say lenient, it's just better. You know, I hate to use the word better, but in comparison to probation, it's definitely better. And like I said, anybody that been through this should know this already. And again, nor do I advocate or recommend anybody to get on said parole or probation to experience it. But then again, probation is a lot easier because that's the first trick they pull to lock you into the system and giving you that tail. I mean, you can, hell, they put you on probation for jaywalking. You know, if you let them, they'll put you on probation for anything. That's the main hook, the first hook that, you know, they would do, again, like I said, to lock you in, pretty much. But that's the answer to the question. Parole is better than probation. And again, I'm speaking for the state of California, and in particular, the Bay Area, Alameda County. And I'm pretty sure different counties probably got different probation tactics that they use, but it's pretty much the same in relation to parole. And again, if you see this video, you can go ahead and let us know in the comments what you think and how it is for your state, because I do hear in other states, in particular like them down south states, they had cats on probation and I think even parole for like 10 years, all kind of stuff. And maybe pros and cons to that. Just like a good example is out here in California, the county year is 8 months, where in other states I'll be hearing is 5 or 4 or 3, or, you know, different, you know, levels of months. So when you hear them giving you 5, 6, 7 years, you like, damn, but you not knowing they only doing like maybe 5 or 6 months off a year, which is still time, but in comparison to 8 months, that's a big difference. But again, California is the official prison state, and we know why. It's all about business and bodies, warehousing humans. But that's the answer, y'all. Parole is better. Let's go ahead, hit that like, dislike, subscribe. Peace. Bad News Brown breaking it down.